This is Tal Wilkenfeld, and you're on BackstageAxxess.com, where the real show begins.
Gus Gressinger here at Backstage Access in Buffalo, New York. We're at the Tralf Music Hall with a bass, a mad woman on the bass, Tal Wilkenfeld from Australia, but obviously now living in the U.S. and touring around. And she just took a little break from a big tour that she's on. You want to tell us the tour that you're on?
Opening for The Who at the moment.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. The Who are celebrating the 50th anniversary, and tell us, you guys played Air Canada Center last night, right? Mm-hmm. How did that go, Toronto?
It was so fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Anything you can share with the audience? Or
it's just such an interesting experience to be playing like with the same band in clubs and then in arenas. Mm-hmm. It actually doesn't feel as different as I may have thought it was going to. But it's just fun. It's a great experience for us all.
Do you notice that the crowds are, giving the music to like a bigger venue, so to speak, than like, say, a little club like this? Obviously it's very comfy, and you guys are, I'm sure, going to come over very well with the Buffalo audience, who actually, I talked to a lot of people, are very excited to see you tonight, by the way. But, playing such, ACC's like, one of the main arenas in Canada. And how did that go over, you guys playing?
I mean, I think we play differently when we're in a bigger place, okay. Possibly a little bit more sparse, okay. To accommodate for the ambience.
Right.
We tend to sort of jam a little bit more in the smaller places. Mm. So there's a different approach, but not crazy different.
Is this your first time in Buffalo?
It is, actually, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So did you get to go out? I know you guys came in pretty early this morning, but did you get to go out and walk
I only went to bed this morning at like 7, woke up and came to sound check. So.
You didn't even get to see. Are you guys going to stay and get to walk around a little bit and check out the sites, or no?
As soon as we're done with the gig, we're off again.
Oh, so. You have to invite you back to...
Yeah, it's like I get asked often, like, have you been to blah, blah, blah place? And I'm like... Yeah. I couldn't really answer that because a lot of the stages look the same.
Right. But you were actually, going back on your history, looking back, you played with the Allman Brothers when you were 20 years old, which is, for a 20-year-old playing with such a legendary band like that, how did that all come about? And, would you describe your, that moment playing with the Allman Brothers way back, when you were 20?
I think I was even younger than 20, maybe. Okay. I was playing in a bunch of clubs when I was a teenager in New York, like every night.
Right.
And I met a couple of the guys from the band during that time, and they asked me to sit in with them. And I guess like O'Teal just handed me his bass one night, and I don't even think Greg Allman knew that it was happening. So the next minute, like, he looks over and like there's this like little girl on the bass, which was pretty funny. And then it was in memory of Elizabeth Reed. So then their usual routine for that song is that they all clear off the stage and they just let the bass do a solo. And I remember doing like a solo for what felt like about 5 minutes by myself at the Beacon Theatre, and I remember like O'Teal ran out into the audience to watch me. It was pretty hilarious.
Which is a big deal, playing a Beacon, and that's...
Yeah, and it was a great experience, and it was one of the things that when the Jeff Beck gig came about, I sent him the recording of that gig. So it was an important night for me.
Right, and I was just going to get into, obviously you play with a lot of different artists, but Jeff Beck is one of the iconic guitar players ever, and you just said how you kind of... who told you actually to send this to Jeff so you might actually get a look, how did that happen?
I'm not sure if it was him or his manager, but one of them called Vinny, the drummer,
right,
and asked if he knew a bass player because I guess Pino Palladino, who funnily enough is playing for The Who,
Right.
Couldn't make a gig, probably because he was playing with The Who. And it was for Eric Clapton's Crossroads Festival. So they called him up, and he recommended me. And then I sent the Allman Brothers recording and my album. And then the next thing I knew, I was flying to England to audition for him. And like one of the things he did in the audition, which was a pretty fast audition, mind you, I had food poisoning from the plane. So I walked into the audition barely being able to speak English. And he kind of just pointed at me in "'Cause We've Ended as Lovers" and asked me to do a solo. And I suppose he liked me doing that so much that I got the gig, and he kept the solo in that song, which he doesn't usually do. And then, you know,
the rest is history, so to speak. But I mean, when you got hired by Jeff Beck, was it like, okay, you know, I arrived, or does it like, you know, hey, I'm grounded, you know, this is just a stepping stone, this is, you know, I'm starting to go where I want to go? I mean, how did you take that?
I would never think that I've ever arrived, other than thinking that I'm always arriving, if that makes any sense.
The present is what you're saying.
Yeah. And gigs, jobs in any respect, in any industry, are it's such a mixed bag of what is required that you never know exactly what qualifications you do or don't have and what's making you the right person for the gig. So I would never let any gig get to my head or inform my decision as to how I feel I might be as a musician or not. I mean, it gave me a lot of really great experience, musical experience, that I'm grateful for. So I definitely feel like I've evolved as a result of being in that band. But like, I'm like constantly like thinking about new ways I'd like to evolve as a musician and as a person.
And I was going to ask you, actually taking something like playing with Jeff Beck or even playing with the Allman Brothers, and I'll go into a couple of the other artists like Jackson Browne and Toto and Ryan Adams. I mean, obviously you run amok with a lot of different artists that you play with in different type of genres. Is there a specific type of genre that you would like to play more than, and Herbie Hancock, which is a legendary jazz player, that you would like to play a little bit more than another style? Or do you just kind of like, is it whatever comes out of you, comes out of you? I mean, how do you take all of those and melt that into your playing?
I feel like I always want to do something that feels fresh and new, and that is not necessarily dependent on the genre as much as it is dependent on the people playing the music with me, and that even applies to when I'm by myself writing songs. I try to create something that I feel will surprise me. Maybe that's for my compensating for my lack of attention span, or maybe I just like hearing things that I haven't heard previously. I definitely identify with other musicians that try to push forward, that are forward thinkers. So yeah, it's really not genre specific.
Okay.
I'm constantly trying to expand and
wherever it's organic is what you're saying. Whatever happens. And we were talking about, or you mentioned Transformation, your first solo effort. It's been a while. So have you been working on some solo material? Can we expect some solo material soon?
Yeah, we're going to release a song in a few days, actually.
Oh, okay, can you tell us about it?
The song's called Corner Painter, and we've recorded the album with basically the same band, which is Blake Mills on guitar, and Jeremy Stacy's playing drums. His brother Paul and I produced it.
Okay.
Ben Montench from the Heartbreakers, and Zach Ray, and that was kind of like the band for the whole album, and they're playing on that song. Sonia Kitchell sung some background vocals, and I can't really tell you much else about the song. I couldn't describe it. I couldn't put it in a box. I can tell you that I feel like it's a true expression of my soul, or an expression of my ability to tell stories.
Okay. Are we gonna? So obviously you're releasing a song, but what about a collection, like a full length LP or maybe a short EP or something?
I'd like
that?
to release the album.
Okay.
I'm going to be doing a pledge campaign.
Okay.
To help mix and master the album and get it out there.
Okay.
So that should be going up any day now too.
Okay, so you're looking at something maybe by the end of this year for sure then, right?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
hopefully I would love to release it in the summer. You know?
Okay.
It's like I'm ready to sort of put it out there and start. Well, I am playing the music that is on the
Okay.
album.
Hello.
Boogie Monster.
They want to come in.
Yeah, so all the songs that we're playing tonight and playing on this tour with The Who are the songs that are on the new record.
Okay. The Who tour just started, I believe, and this is an off show that you're doing here in Buffalo. We're so lucky to have you, and I think you're doing some other cities too. Where you're doing when The Who's not playing that city, you're going into another town and playing. Yeah. How long is this tour going to be going on for?
It's a 5-week tour.
Okay, 5 weeks.
We're about a week in.
Okay, and some of the other cities that you might be hitting down the line besides Buffalo that you're playing outside of The Who?
Playing Chicago. I mean, I haven't thoroughly looked at all of the dates. I kind of just like look at the first date. I'm like, this is where I need to show up, and then the bus will take me from there.
Wherever the bus takes you.
Yes.
Okay. So we expect hopefully some new music down the line. Like you said, the Pledge campaign will be launched in a couple days, and currently on tour with The Who. The Who, I'm sure everybody's heard The Who. Obviously, 50 years going strong.
Yeah.
And the shows, like you said, you played Air Canada Center last night. The show went great. The Tralf, this is my first time taking you in, so I'm very excited, actually, as my assistant there is as well. And Buffalo, too bad we haven't, we want to show you around, and too bad next time when you come back around you have to check out the falls and all the wonderful sites that
everyone in the band was like saying, we need to go.
Yeah, you have to check everything in. But before we wrap up here, anything else you want to tell the fans, like if they come to one of your shows, what can they expect when you're playing live?
Well, a lot of people aren't used to the fact that I'm singing now and playing some guitar along with bass. I mean, I'd say I'd be playing bass about 85 to 90% of the time. So, yeah, I guess I'm singing and writing songs. They're stories that I hope you find fascinating. That's really it. Sorry.
One more question before I wrap up, too, and I'd be amiss to say this, but young artists out there, what do you have to say to them that are trying to break in, try to make it? Any inspiring words for them?
I suppose I would like to tell them that to allow challenges to help propel them forward, not to stop them from whatever it is that they want to do, because that's like the universe's way of ensuring that you're going to step up to the plate.
Adversity, keep going. Don't let it take you to side roads. Focus on the main road, I guess, something like that, right? I guess, I don't know. I'm not an artist. I'm just throwing things out there.
You're an artist.
I'm an artist.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, well, nothing like yourself, obviously. The one and only Talented, opening up for The Who. Check her out on tour right now. Go to, hopefully I'll say this right, Tal Wilkenfeld's website. Is it www.yourname.com?
It is, talwilkenfeld.com.
Okay, good. That was
Or you could just go to like Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or Twitter or any of those other
social media outlets.
Periscope.
Yeah, you
Find me.
know
I'm Tell Me a Story on Instagram.
Tell me a story. Okay.
So please tell me a story.
All right. So check her out. Go to all those wonderful social media sites. Check her out on tour, like I said, with The Who. Who doesn't want to miss, obviously, The Who doing their 50th anniversary tour, and a wonderful opening act.
Who does not want to miss The Who?
Yeah. And right here in Buffalo, we're lucky tonight, like I said, at Tralf, and we appreciate you taking the time to talk to BackstageAxxess. Check her out.